G'day everybody. I just want to put out a little point of mine. Well, other people have probably said the same thing. I'll find a clip about it. But anyway, I'm going to put it out again. Because that's what we all do. Just keep repeating things until people get it right, isn't it? But anyway, what happens to a jail person who does wrong all the time and been in jail and then gets used to the jail system? There's stories about this. You can look them up, what these jail people have said. And they get used to such a style and a way that when they're out in the real world, they can't live. They don't know how to do it, and no one wants to be with them because of the system. It's a system style in a way. And the criminals are like, well, the best thing, the only thing I can do is go back to doing what I know, and that's going back to jail and hanging out with my crew because he can't fit out in the system or he just doesn't feel right anymore. You know what I've noticed? And so he goes back to jail, right? And nothing changes. Don't you notice that that's what every system did when it sort of collapsed? Is that the rich people, they get stuck in such a way, like try to change a what? There's so much to say. Like doctors. See, I go to a hospital and I look around and I laugh a lot, definitely in my head, and I go, "There's all these people waiting on waiting list and need help. We're in a place where we've got plenty of resources and goods. And I see all these rooms, they're mostly empty. They're always empty. The surgery rooms. Mostly always empty every time I go to a hospital. What about you, babe? When you go to a hospital, unless they're a big hospital like Alfred and stuff like that, it's occasional hospital. I'm talking about just little small town hospitals, just basic hospitals and stuff like that. You rock up there and there's nothing getting used. Half of it or a quarter of it, right, getting used. Of the hospital, like they have little areas might be overpacked, and then these other areas totally empty and just not getting used. And I'm like, what's the point of having this big hospital and we're not using all this stuff? Like it's like having factories that they're not getting used at the moment. And that's because we don't have doctors who are there to do the job. You get that told all the time. And why isn't there doctors there to do the job? Like it's not a hard thing to learn. Like a person being an engineer, we all learn to be doctors, so we can all get plenty of doctors to go do the job. But they're not there because they're like, well, I can get paid better somewhere else, or I'd rather just go have a holiday because I've got plenty of money already, and I don't want to be a doctor at the moment. I want to live my life because I get paid well as to be a doctor, right? And maybe that's the problem why we don't have the doctors when we need them, because they all think that they're God because they're saviors, which is understandable, but that's a job. Firefighter could be God. A police officer could be God. A lollipop lady could be God in a way because they can all save lives, right? In the job that they do. No one's better than anyone else. It's the job they do is why they get paid. So if you get paid well, you better make sure you're at the job. And if they want to leave, that's fine. Then we better, if they're going to leave and we got that problem, then we need a lot more doctors then, surgeons and stuff like that. We need to pump them out until the problem is solved when it comes to our medical issues. So in this day and age, we can flow them in and out. And countries overseas proves how quick you can fix things when you step it up, right? And you start pumping out surgery, start pumping out things. You can do it. It's called working hard, isn't it? It's actually getting them to work hard, like constantly, non-stop. That's working hard, where you're non-stop at doing what you're doing, not working hard, getting paid well, and then taking most of your time off when it's needed. So if you're in a field that is desperately needed, do you think a lot of time off is good for you? Do you think that's wise to spread around that field when you desperately need help and there's desperately problems there in that field? Do you think these people should be taking time off? As far as I'm concerned, they shouldn't be, unless they sort out the problem. Hey, there's a nice little blue one there. Little wee wagtail. I don't know if you've seen that in your life. You know what I mean? See, I talk like things can be easy. There, he's back again. Front. He's a little fella. I talk like things can be easily solved, and so does a lot of other people. But it never does it? And in the end, it's just envy and greed. That's all it is. And people could look up where it's coming from and who's doing what and change it, but it doesn't happen. You know why? Because of the greed. Everyone gets paid. Shh. Hush money wins the world. Shh. Join the crew. Shh. What are you doing? Right? And I don't understand that. That's fine to have groups like that. But when it comes to the people's health, it comes to the well-being of the world and doing things right, we should do all that. And then when all the other little sneaky things that things can happen in the world that bother people, just little bits of groups and all little tricks and stuff, go ahead, shh, hush money. But when it comes to doing things right for everybody so the world can keep functioning as a balance, don't use hush money to ruin that. We need that balance. Right? Hush money in the end, all you're going to do, you know what happens with all this hush money and crap when everything shits the fan because you're all doing these problems and we're heading to a part where shit's going to hit the fan. That's what happened to all the other societies. They take all their hush money, they run off and golden goodies. And because we know we all reset and whatever's left over, that's what happens. It's the constant circle of life. Right? And they run off, that's what they're all going to do. They go down in their holes and they just let things go to a ride. These bad people just keep doing what they can until just shit hits the fan. And then that's when we get a decent change. But you know what? We can change without that. It's just sad that every society we've had till now, and we can fix this one. We've got technology and everything. We can do it right and probably last thousands of years before we need to change certain things. Because we start doing it right, then we've got all the time in the world to look for technology and make things and go exploring in space, right? First, you've got to have the balance. Without the balance in the ecosystem, there is no future. Right? It's just collapse and restart and devastation and hurt. Anyway, bye-bye. I just thought I'd chuck that out. And I love to have a little blab. And I needed to release something. And I just don't get things. And we're all like that, eh? And one day, all I could say is that we'll connect. We'll have someone with money to make it connect, get the right people together, show and talk the right things, and just make it happen. And we'll make that be cool and popular. And don't worry about the rest. They make just because what you got and what the fun you're having is cool and popular, and it's the way you're doing it. We'll make that how you're doing it. That's cool and popular. Anyway, bye bye.